Okay guys, so we've got the Pile Driver 50 with the extended air tube that I showed you in the previous video. I've got the scope on it, we're getting it sighted in, and we're going to do some number crunching to look at the spread, okay? Because I already know what the speeds basically are going to be, but we're going to redo it, check the spread, and this time we're going to do a 5-shot string on each bullet weight just to see. Because with this added air, it really gives you a little more love on those bigger slugs. So let's do some shooting, and then we'll come right back at you with the figures, all right? Don't go anywhere unless you've got a severe case of Montezuma's Revenge. You ready for some shooting? All right, ignore the mess. It's winter time, so I just keep stacking. Bullseye. Okay, so this is what we're going to test today with the extended air tank on the 50 cal pile driver. So I've tested these before with the standard years ago. Now we're going to do it again with the extended. The 310, 345, and 385 have always been the most popular amongst all 50 cal air rifles. And then of course you need a bit more juice to push the 445 and the 525, which I have used many times to kill hogs. Excellent lineup. Here's an idea I had on this pile driver. If I took the gauge out by the trigger assembly, and I got a 1/8 adapter extension basically, and then a check valve fill nipple, if I could replace it and fill it from that instead of having to use that probe. So I did that on the 62. Let me show that to you here. So far I'm still testing it to see if she's leaking and how it's holding air. Okay, so that's the 62 pile driver. I just took the gauge out, put a little pipe tape on there, put the two pieces together, and then, you know, screwed it. I had to take it out the stock, of course, otherwise you can't get it in there unless you had some weirdo extension socket. But I just tightened it up with a crescent wrench, put it back together. Always make sure that you've cocked it and taken the hammer off the valve stem, because sometimes it gets stuck in the open position and you got to fart around with it. Well, because it's stuck open, so the air's just, you know, whizzing out. So I had to play around a couple of times, got it to, you know, lock up properly. So that is on the 62. If I like it, then I'm going to do it on the rest. Since I don't really use the gauges underneath, I used the one on my fill tank, I could care less. But when I started into air guns, we didn't have gauges. You used what was on your fill tank. And you say, well, my fill tank? Well, yeah, you know, you got this big old gauge on your tank, you can see what's going on. So why would I need one on the rifle? Generally 3 shots, refill. All right, guys. The noise you hear in the background is I got the compressor running, trying to get my tanks all topped off again. you know, with these boosters, you get kind of spoiled. So, you know, instead of at 3,000 refilling, I'll go down to 2,000 or even under. And then it just takes longer to fill them back up. That's just being lazy. So, the 50 cal pile driver with the extended air tube. We did a 5-shot string, and if you look at the numbers that I'll put up here in the chart, so if you did a freeze frame and screen captured that, what you're going to see is the spread between each shot is it's much smaller. So instead of like 960, 860, 760 with a short tank, you know, now you're only talking 30, 40 feet a second difference. You know, easy as the shots count down. So I'm doing 5 shots and getting really good numbers. Now, I will say, on my 4300 as a fill, I was getting just a little bit of valve lock at 43, definitely on the lighter bullet, the 310. So you may want to do 41 or 42 if you're going to be shooting like the 310 or under. But, you know, look at the chart. The numbers are screaming. So just a high, the 310 was 650 foot-pounds. The 345, 688. The 385 was 723. Now that's the highest numbers always on the first shot, except for that lighter bullet where I had a little bit of valve lock. 445, now we're getting heavier. Now the speeds are starting to drop a little bit. 746, and you can see the foot-pounds of energy is gaining as the weight gains. And then the monster, the 525, which I've killed numerous pigs with that, just because I could. 816 foot-pounds. So we're over the 800 foot-pounds with that 525. I can get above that if I put the 620 long nose solid. I can get above that, but you know, I'm sticking with the 5 hollow points. So this, adding this extended air tube evens, you'll see the numbers, it just evens it out. It gives you a better spread. So I'm really happy with that. So, you know, if it's something you guys want to do, look at the previous video. I did it. I don't know anything about warranties and so on. That's up to you on what happens. The one thing I did notice is anytime you do take this tank off or you're going to drain it, cock it so you're taking the hammer off the valve stem so it's not staying stuck. A couple of times I had to pop air in it real quick with my tank because it was stuck in the open position. And I did show you what I did to the 62. Look at this close-up. I took the gauge out of the 62 and I put a valve stem in there, male quick connect fill nipple, or the male check valve fill nipple here. So I didn't, so I could just, instead of using this probe all the time, I could fill it normal. Couple of headaches, but I seem to work through that. So, do what you want, but always make sure you cock this. Otherwise, I had to fart around. I had to blow some air this way to put the valve closed. It's working. It's working fine. I'm really happy with it. So just remember, anytime you alter stuff, buyer beware. So I'm really happy with this. I've got this extended tank now on all 3 calibers, the 45, the 50, and the 62. And really, it's bigger at 62, you really do need a bit more air because you're throwing some big, the smallest bullet is a 440. That's a lot of punch. So, better spread. Add a couple more instead of 3 shots. Now I'm getting 5 easily. And I stopped all 5 bullet weights. 43 starting, ended at 2,800. So the consumption per shot seems to equal out as, you know, starting and finishing. So I'm really happy with that. So that's it, guys. Just a quick, it's working, I'm ecstatic video. So we'll see what else we can do while it's frozen cold and wet outside. You guys have a wonderful shooting afternoon. See you later. Mr. Hollow Point is out of here.